Plenty of people will buy a camera for its large amount of megapixels, but how about for its lack of megapixels? This is the Pixless camera, and it takes almost pixel art like images. It has 0.03 megapixels. That's just slightly more than what the Atari 2600 had. And it's also the same amount of detail that a Polaroid photo can resolve. Oh! Ben, I'm sorry, it was just a joke.
This isn't very chill at all.
There's certainly something fun about a lo-fi camera, and with digicams really in vogue right now, it's no wonder that something like this would exist. I think it's closest to something like the Game Boy camera, which I've seen a lot of over the last couple years. But the difference here is that this is super small, really easy to use, it can hold a lot of photos, and it has color palettes that are swappable, almost like film simulations. Evidently, Instagram has noticed my fondness for pictures taken with the Game Boy camera because they served me an advertisement for this thing. And it's not out yet, but its maker, Carlo, was kind enough to send over, as far as I know, the first prototype to see the public. So the camera only has 2 buttons, one for taking a picture and one for turning the camera on and off. On the back, we have this very cute little OLED screen. More about that later. This helps you compose your picture, but in terms of controls, that's all you have. Its body is MJF 3D printed, so it has a cool texture to it and it's strong. That's a really beautiful sign. That sign is my muse. It's so hard to take a picture of, I don't know, something that's not close up just because of the resolution. It's really changing the way I have to think about taking pictures. This rock, this is incredible. Let me capture that forever. Something I do find pretty refreshing about this is that the depth of field is so large that you can get really up close to stuff, and especially considering the resolution of the pictures, you can't really tell. So let's change palettes here to something else. Let's do Red Orb 12. So the film emulations, or in this case color palettes, are a really interesting thing because they're loaded through the SD card and you can really customize them. There's websites online where you can download these, but also you're free to make them yourself. The field of view is just about 35 millimeters full frame equivalent. There's something about a Lomo lo-fi camera that kind of really makes me want to have the widest lens possible. I'm pretty sure that's just a me thing, but the choice for not a wide angle lens is really valid on something like this because there are so few pixels. If you want to be able to show any detail in something, you really have to get up close to it. I can definitely say that going back through the SD card on this thing, there's a bunch of stuff where I have no idea what it was, and we might never know. In talking to Carlo, one of the things he mentioned, which I thought was very interesting, was the little preview screen on here, particularly in regards to the fact that it's not a one-to-one representation of the photo you're going to get. It's composed of hundreds of these tiny dots which dance around on the screen, and it serves to give you a general idea of the image's composition. But there's no colors, there's no jagged edges of the pixels. This kind of pre-visualization is designed to kind of emulate the experience of using a rangefinder camera. When you have so few details to work with, it takes a lot to get a good picture. It's hard. You have to use every pixel to your advantage. So it definitely takes some practice and getting used to and stuff. But I've been enjoying it, and it's so small that you can just throw it in your pocket and not even think about it. This is only a prototype, so there's going to be changes in the final version. But currently it's looking at just about 70 euros. So if that comes to pass, I mean, I think that's totally reasonable for something like this, especially considering how niche it is. Carlo is doing a Kickstarter campaign for this, and I'm going to put a link to that. With all crowdfunding campaigns, I think it's important to mention that there's not always a guarantee stuff's going to succeed. I think there's approximately like a million campaigns I can think of where, you know, the money dried up or it just disappeared entirely. Of course, I don't think that's going to happen here. I'm planning on supporting it myself, but it's always worth mentioning, you know, with this kind of stuff, there's always risks involved. Okay, so editing Avery here, I'm going to put a link to the Kickstarter. It is up, it is live, and so far it is already a success. Woo, congratulations. So yeah, pretty interesting though. Let me know what you think about this kind of thing, and be sure to stick around for more camera related things because there's a lot of that around here. Bye.